Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. General Hospital finds Rick Lansing, recast. Held captive by Ava Jerome, Maura West, Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mansi, and Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn. And they believe he's completely under their control. However, this week marks a turning point as Rick breaks free and confronts Alexis, knife in hand, leaving her in terror. After Ava administered a sleeping pill to Rick, she left Alexis to her work. She was assuming Rick was securely restrained in the basement. This task was related to Monica Quartermain's Leslie Charlson upcoming will reading. Unbeknownst to them, Rick had been working on loosening his restraints and finally escaped after Ava's departure. The situation escalates dramatically when Rick sneaks up on Alexis, holding a knife to her throat as she relaxes on the sofa. This terrifying ordeal is likely to trigger PTSD in Alexis. It may remind her of a similar traumatic experience with her late ex-husband, Julian Jerome, William Devroy. Adding to the trauma, Alexis also witnessed Helena Cassadine, Constance Towers, murder her mother years ago. A brutal act involving a dagger to the throat. Despite the shock of Rick's escape, spoilers suggest Ava has impeccable timing. It's predicted that Ava will return to Alexis's house and find Rick menacing her with a knife. Given Ava's fierce nature, it's highly probable she'll intervene. She may overpower Rick and save Alexis. Known for her resourcefulness, Ava might even be carrying a concealed weapon, a tactic she's employed before. It's anticipated that Ava and Alexis will manage to subdue Rick and drag him back to the basement and secure him with double the duct tape and a ball gag. While Rick's escape attempt is thwarted, his time in captivity may not be over. He has a significant amount of karmic retribution to face, and this attack on Alexis is unlikely to lead to his immediate release on General Hospital. Once Rick is secured, there's a possibility that someone else might discover his captivity in Alexis's basement before his captors decide to release him. The question remains, would this discoverer set him free or leave him to his fate? It's highly likely that someone will find Rick. So perhaps they'll hear noises from the basement and investigate, only to be shocked by the sight of Rick bound and gagged. Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, who is often at Alex's place, could be a potential discoverer. Given his animosity towards his half-brother Rick, Sonny would likely find the situation amusing and leave him to his predicament, perhaps even telling Alexis, "Good job." Carly Corinthos Spencer, Laura Wright, might also visit Alexis, especially since both are suspects in Drew Kane Quartermain's Cameron Matheson shooting. If Carly were to find Rick, it would be a moment of ultimate irony. Viewers may recall Rick holding a pregnant Carly captive in 2003, attempting to steal her baby. Carly would undoubtedly relish seeing Rick in such a vulnerable state, a fitting karmic payback. Other potential discoverers include Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, and Nina Reeves, Cynthia Wardrose. Jason would likely roll his eyes and walk away. Michael, while possibly asking questions, would not alert the authorities or help Rick. Nina, being best friends with Ava, would also likely find the situation amusing and leave Rick to his fate, possibly even joking about it. The best-case scenario for Rick would be if Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, discovered him, as she might be the only one with close ties to his captors who would consider releasing him. However, most people in Port Charles harbor ill feelings towards Rick. Elizabeth Weber, Rebecca Herbst, might potentially help Rick. But the odds of her finding him are low, as she doesn't frequent Alexis's house. The worst-case scenario for Ava, Alexis, and Christina would be if Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, or Chase, Josh Swickard, discovered Rick during their investigation into Drew's shooting. While they might untee Rick, they might also choose to ignore the situation, similar to how they previously overlooked Michael's assault on Drew. General Hospital has always thrived on the balance between heartfelt romance and nail-biting danger, and the newest twist unfolding in Port Charles is pulling viewers right back into the suspense that defines some of the soap's darkest, most thrilling storylines. Fans are buzzing after a shocking knife attack set into motion, a chain of events that left Rick Lansing once again in the middle of danger, betrayal, and unexpected heroics. For longtime viewers who remember the basement days of terror when Rick kept Carly captive in his twisted pursuit of family and power, the irony of Rick being thrust back into another basement drama isn't lost. But this time, the tables have turned. Instead of orchestrating fear, Rick is the one facing it head-on, and stepping up in a surprising rescue that could change how Port Charles sees him forever. The attack itself was nothing short of brutal. A knife-wielding assailant struck in a moment of chaos, leaving several lives hanging in the balance. In the heat of the moment, Rick Lansing, who many still remember as a morally grey lawyer with dangerous tendencies, emerged as an unlikely savior. Rushing into danger rather than away from it, Rick's actions stunned those around him. Once labeled as a schemer, his decision to put himself on the line marked a defining turning point that may set the stage for his redemption arc. Yet, as always in General Hospital, nothing is as simple as it seems. The attack wasn't random, the aftermath is messier than anyone imagined, and the looming shadow of the past threatens to drag Rick back to the darkness he fought so hard to escape. When the dust settled, it became clear that the drama was far from over. The victim of the knife attack has ties to Rick's history, dredging up secrets and old betrayals that he would rather keep buried. His intervention saved a life, but it also brought him face to face with demons he spent years trying to outrun. The basement, where Rick once committed his most unforgivable act, becomes the unexpected center stage once again as he finds himself drawn back into a claustrophobic web of lies, danger, and difficult choices. Is this fate forcing Rick to confront the darkest chapter of his life? Or is it simply the cruel twist of Port Charles' destiny that everyone who tries to walk away eventually gets dragged back in? The emotional weight of the storyline is staggering. Rick has always been one of General Hospital's most complicated characters, a man who, despite his charm and intelligence, has been haunted by jealousy, poor choices, and the shadow of his brother Sonny Corinthos. The knife attack isn't just a test of Rick's bravery. It's a chance for him to prove to himself and to Port Charles that he's more than his past sins. But as he leads the rescue that unfolds in the basement, viewers can't help but feel the tension of history repeating itself. The same walls that once echoed with fear and cruelty now serve as the backdrop for Rick's attempt to make amends. The parallels are chilling, the drama electric, and the stakes higher than ever. What makes this twist especially gripping is how it intertwines with the lives of other Port Charles residents. Elizabeth Weber, who has always had a fraught and complicated history with Rick, is pulled back into his orbit as she struggles with her own doubts about whether he can truly change. Carly, who survived Rick's basement once before, is forced to relive her trauma while also confronting the shocking truth that the same man who once victimized her might now be the reason someone else lives. Sonny, ever the larger-than-life figure, has to reckon with his brother's actions and what they mean for their fragile, fractured bond. Even characters who weren't directly involved in Rick's past find themselves sucked into the drama. Because on General Hospital, no secret stays buried forever. The knife attack has also sparked speculation about who the true mastermind is behind the chaos. Was this a random crime of opportunity, or is there a darker conspiracy threading through the streets of Port Charles? The basement setting adds an extra layer of mystery, as fans know that GH writers rarely revisit such iconic locations without tying them to major reveals. Could the attack be part of a larger plan to manipulate Rick, testing his limits and dragging him back toward the morally grey line he has walked for years? Or is it possible that someone from Rick's past, someone who knows his darkest secrets, is pulling the strings in a twisted attempt at revenge? For longtime fans, this storyline is a brilliant callback to one of General Hospital's most unforgettable eras. Rick's basement plot is still discussed as one of the most shocking and controversial arcs in soap history, and bringing him back into that space, not as a villain, but as a hero in the making, is a daring narrative gamble. It forces the audience to grapple with their own conflicted feelings about Rick. Can a man who once committed unthinkable acts truly redeem himself? Is heroism enough to erase the shadows of the past? And perhaps most importantly, can the people of Port Charles ever truly forgive him? The dramatic rescue is only the beginning. As word of Rick's involvement spreads, Port Charles will be forced to confront a wave of new tensions. Gratitude battles against suspicion, old wounds reopen, and characters find themselves questioning their alliances. Elizabeth may struggle with guilt over how deeply Rick once hurt her, even as she witnesses his willingness to risk everything to protect others. Carly may feel torn between her justified anger at Rick's past actions and the undeniable fact that, in this moment, he saved lives. Sonny may find himself facing the most difficult question of all. Does he finally accept his brother as a man who can stand by his side? Or does he push him away once again, unable to forget the darkness that nearly tore their family apart? As the fallout builds, fans can expect General Hospital to lean heavily into suspense and psychological drama. Rick's presence in the basement isn't just symbolic, it's a narrative crucible. Every decision he makes in this claustrophobic, pressure-filled environment will shape his future in Port Charles. Will he emerge as a man reborn, finally freed from the mistakes that defined him? Or will the shadows of the basement pull him back under, proving once and for all that some ghosts are impossible to escape? This daring rescue after the knife attack sets the stage for one of General Hospital's most thrilling arcs in recent years. It's not just about the action. It's about legacy, redemption, and the ways in which the past refuses to stay buried. Rick's journey from villain to potential hero isn't an easy one, but it's the kind of layered, emotionally charged storytelling that GH does best. With old traumas resurfacing, new dangers lurking, and the ever-present threat that one wrong move could destroy everything, viewers are strapped in for a ride that promises to be unforgettable. The basement may have once been Rick's prison of guilt and cruelty, but now it could be the place where he either saves himself or loses everything all over again. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.